Bayer Leverkusen, the invincible season, and then took that big job at Real Madrid, which, as we know, didn't work out for him, which is why that Chelsea were able to steal in when I think there was a lot of talk that others might have been interested, Daniel, potentially Liverpool, maybe even Manchester City.
Yeah, and look, this is a statement signing from Chelsea, for sure. A lot of clubs were looking at this man. What he did at Leverkusen was exceptional. Of course, as you mentioned, going to Real Madrid, it didn't work out for him, but what he brings is winning's in his DNA. You know, as a player, he was a winner, and as a manager, he was a winner. And for me, it's the culture he's going to bring to the football club. It's the energy he's going to bring. It's the framework he's going to bring. Maresca brought that, of course. Brasilia, it didn't work out for him. But this man here, whether it's formation, whatever he's going to change, he's going to get in the dressing room and figure out which players he can rely on, which players he trusts, figure out the formation, which is a difficult task as well. But I have no doubts he can do it, because we've seen what he brings to Leverkusen with a squad of young players as well. He sprinkled in a bit of experience around them as well, but he made players tick. He created absolute big problems for opposition, and they were an attacking team and exciting to watch on the eye as well.
Yeah, I think there is an awful lot of excitement around Stamford Bridge about his impending arrival, July the 1st, his start date. Let's speak to one of his former Liverpool teammates, Jamie Carragher, who's part of our commentary team here tonight. Evening to you, Jamie. We were talking about this as a possibility last week, and you were actually quite critical of Chelsea. I think the words you used were that they were a broken club. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think it was that. But how does this one appointment change your perspective on what might be possible for this football club?
Well, it's no doubt it's a fantastic appointment from Chelsea's point of view when you consider how poor it's been for them certainly this season, and you think there's probably the chance that there's definitely no Champions League football, maybe an outside chance for European football. Who knows? See how tonight goes. But they're actually 10th in the Premier League right now, and you think what the players they have in the squad, the money that they've spent, but they can still go and get a manager of that level. So they'll be absolutely delighted with that. And the biggest thing for it, I think, will be not so much what Xabi Alonso is going to do next season, but I do believe that Chelsea have 5 or 6 really top players. And there was murmurings that they were starting to think about their future. Understandably so, with no Champions League football. But I think with the appointment of Xabi Alonso, I think that could keep up those players at the club. Listen, they still may move on, I don't know. But I think the sign of someone with the calibre of his playing career alone, but also certainly him being seen as one of the real up-and-coming big managers of the future. And yeah, it's really exciting for Chelsea. Great appointment.
Jamie, we know as well that, since the Blue Co takeover, there has been this reliance on signing young players predominantly, and there has been a heavy reliance on the sporting director model. Do you expect those two things to be tweaked?
Well, they need to be tweaked. Whether they will be, I'm not sure. There's a lot being made of Xabi Alonso's title going from head coach to manager. Whether that's just a perception to, maybe appease people on the outside, I'm not sure. But the same for any Chelsea manager. Xabi Alonso will have to get results. If he doesn't, they'll change the manager. I think you've got to go back to Jose Mourinho's first spell at the club. That, I think he was here 3 years then. I don't think any Chelsea manager since then's been here longer than 3 years. So it just tells you, the nature of this club. They demand a lot, the supporters, from the managers. And if they don't deliver, they want them changed pretty quickly. So we're talking about a great coup for Chelsea. But it's just interesting, who knows, but the reasons why Xabi shows, Chelsea, when you think of the history of the club in terms of how quickly they fire managers.
Jamie, thank you very much. Enjoy your evening, Jamie, on commentary duty for us here tonight. And yeah, this is what it's looked like, the roll call so far for Blue Co. They inherited Thomas Tuchel. It didn't last too long, so the average tenure of their head coaches so far has been just 27 games. Now, they've talked about this a little bit in a statement they've made in the club programme this evening, which is accredited to the sporting leadership and directors, in which they say creating sustainable success means investing in talent, but also in time, structure and shared values. No club wants to experience change in the head coach position, and we are continuing to work to bring stability to this role. Do you think they have got to a point where they've realised, Daniel, that they have perhaps made some mistakes? and they need to take a different path moving forward to take this club back to where the fans feel it belongs.
I think so, yeah. I mean, any club needs stability to be successful long term. That's just the nature of the beast. You know, you're going up against clubs who have been working together, players with chemistry, management style, evolving, and that's what the best clubs have done. That's how you be successful consistently. So I think for Chelsea now bringing in Xabi Alonso, it's about giving him the bare minimum 2 seasons, full seasons. You have a pre-season with the boys, you get to know them, you build the chemistry, you build the system. The first season, of course, being out of Europe helps. And then the following season, you'd like to think they're challenging for me. You'd like to think the first season, they're in the top 4, it's deemed a success, maybe you get a trophy out of it. But then the following season, for me, probably looking, thinking, okay, they've edged a bit closer now. Can you go to the next level? And then I think for me, ultimately, this is the guy that can take him to the promised land again. Do you know what I mean? From what he's done in the past, the excitement he brings to the fan base, to the players. You know, you can see Cole Palmer was buoyed. Can't wait to play for him. I think that's the feeling you have inside as a player. When you see a manager coming, you're like, you know what? I'm having a bit of that me.